Hey everyone, this is Scott from certmedia.com, and in this video I'm going to be covering the Aardvark theme. I'm going to be going over its general configuration, the setup process, and I'm also going to be answering who this theme really is meant for. One thing that you'll notice with a lot of ThemeForest themes is they can all do everything. But is it properly equipped to be a magazine or properly equipped to be a membership type website? And that's what we're going to try to answer. No one theme can do everything, and if it does, it can't do everything well. So when you first upload it and activate it, you're going to get a suggestion window here to install the following plugins. And then when you go to this menu, you're going to get a long list of plugins, and there's going to be ones that are required with the theme and some that are not. And this can be quite difficult. One thing we're going to do is the cool thing about Aardvark is they have a setup window. And this gives you a basic recommendation of what they say your system should be running. So this staging URL, I have it on PHP 7.1. They recommend 7.2. It'll still run fine on 7.1 or even 7. I've tested all of them. It does recommend increasing the PHP execution limit. I'm not going to be doing that for the staging URL. If you're on a website or your own server where you can do that, go ahead and do so. This is primarily meant to do the import process for the demos, but after that, you shouldn't have to worry about it. If you go to the plugins window, you're going to get some things you're going to get a much nicer user interface than what you initially got on the little pop-up. Frankly, I would just say to the developers, this should be the screen that users get sent to upon install and activation, not getting a pop-up for the required plugins because it's quite complicated. So the things that you should install right away, you should always have a child theme active, period. Even if you're not somebody who modifies the code, if you ever hire a developer, and especially if you get one that's a little bit less experienced, they may just slap code in the functions PHP file that is lost on update, and this just helps prevent that. It allows you to have a child theme to put the code in. It also allows you to modify and add CSS without ever losing it in the case of an update. And then it gives you 3 plugins that are required: the Page Builder, WordPress Bakery, the Responsive, and the Aardvark plugin. These are what I like to call the bare minimum, because even though these are required, having just the required plugins is really just giving you the most basic implementation of the theme. So you're able to now build pages and you have a general layout, but you don't have anything that Aardvark was meant for. Aardvark was really meant to work as a membership or community-based website. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the demos before I install the rest of the plugins. So Aardvark comes with a lot of pre-made demos, some of which I wouldn't really recommend using this theme for. There's Aardvark Review, and if you click on it, for instance, it'll give you a nice little URL to visit. Aardvark Review basically is a review template that also can integrate social aspects. GhostPool has made a lot of good templates in its past, focused around community-based websites. This one is actually quite good because GhostPool has proper experience in integrating these, and all their other themes integrated BuddyPress quite well, which is what this is for. For the purpose of my demo and my walkthrough, I'm going to be installing Aardvark Review because that's the most common use case I would use it for. You can also install Aardvark Network and a bunch of other sub-themes. Basically, I would use this theme if you're looking for the review functionality or the membership / BuddyPress / e-learning experience. I wouldn't use this for a store because while it can function as a store, it doesn't have a lot of functionality built in that makes it make a lot of sense for running an e-commerce website. And it's not really fast enough from a performance perspective that I would really recommend using it for it. But its community and its review and even its news magazine, which I'm not a fan of the demo that it comes with, which is right here. I'm not a complete fan of this design. The theme can perform it quite well due to previous experience and really rock solid development by GhostPool. So we're going to be installing the review template. And what you do is you click on the import tab. Now, if you click import, what this will do, you can import pages, the post, review templates, menus, widgets, import the theme options, import the Ultimate Reviewer settings, which is a plugin that he developed. It will import the settings that they used for the demo, and it will also activate any required plugins for this demo to work. This is another good piece of tech that they integrate. A lot of themes on ThemeForest, when they do have a setup window, they make you go back and add the plugins, and then you can go ahead and import the data. Even larger themes like Avada used to do this quite frequently, and I believe Avada is still guilty of that, but this is a really solid integration process. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and click go, and we're gonna see how long it takes, what needs to be done. It's gonna install the plugin, importing the pages. It should be relatively quickly because I'm on my own VPS with a very fast connection, and it's not that much data. So now the data was imported, and review bold. We can view the page that it generates, and this is the home page that it generated. What you should do then is click set as home page. And now it's gonna successfully set it. And one thing I'm going to do just from a sanity point of view is I'm gonna go to the permalinks real quick, and I'm just gonna set them to the post name. You should probably have already done this, but I'm just doing it to refresh it a little bit. So there we go. The review theme was imported. It doesn't import the images because of copyright issues that could be inherent to importing them. So very simple, nice user interface, clean, modern design. It looks great out of the box. Nice little search bar. And the great thing is even if your demo, for instance, doesn't add things like BuddyPress, the theme has native support for BuddyPress. So we're now going to go ahead and install BuddyPress and BBPress because this theme has a lot of power in it to handle those plugins. So you're just going to go ahead and click over here and install both these plugins, because I'm assuming if you're buying this theme, you're looking to have a community in the first place. And BuddyPress and BBPress are where you'd like to go to do that. Go ahead, install and activate. We're just gonna give it a minute and activate the BuddyPress. All right, cool. So these are all added now. So we added our plugins, we have the demo imported, and now we're just going to be discussing what else you can do with the theme. So when you come over to Aardvark, you have a custom sidebars tool, because the theme allows you to choose sidebars to load in certain conditions. You can use them for different categories, you can set them on different pages, so that way you can create sidebars on the go in case you need to have a custom sidebar for a specific page or page type. The theme options panel is fairly straightforward. You can select the tab that you wish to modify, and there are sub-tabs. So underneath the general, there are several additional sub-tabs that you'll click on, and it will load the information for you to modify. There are so many options in this theme. You can effectively almost modify any aspect of the front end in this backend editor to get the colors, the fonts, the borders, the margins, the paddings to exactly like you want. I cannot cover every option in here, but I'm just going to give you the rundown of the ones that are arguably the most important. So if you're looking to modify the desktop header, you can do so here. This will allow you to change how the header loads and where content is placed in the header. Oftentimes people like to have either a above content header, which is where you have a slider and then the actual header is underneath it and it shows when they scroll, or you can disable it altogether. You could choose to do a boxed format, which is where it gets crushed here, or a wide format, which makes it go full width in this box. I'll help you by illustrating it here. And you can also enable if it's fixed. A fixed header just means that it's able to be, if it's a fixed header, it just means that it can be when you scroll, it follows you. Wow, I couldn't get the words out. So the fixed header is great. It's also known as a sticky header if you've used any other themes. It works exactly the same. One thing I always do is I always make sure I have the sticky header enabled for all devices, because sticky headers tend to be more useful on mobile devices, in my opinion, where while you don't have a lot of screen real estate, you need the ability for users to navigate easily because they'll just be scrolling for an extended period of time. So I always make sure that I enable the fixed header option. Once we do that, we're then going to be modifying the mobile header, because you can do a lot of interesting things with the mobile header. So by default, we come over here and it's what you would call an off canvas header, which is where the mobile device has a menu. It's typically a hamburger icon is what it's known as. You tap it, and then the menu unfolds on the left-hand side. So we're going to click on the mobile header, and you can customize how the drawer pops out that it does right here. One thing that I do notice is right off the bat, and this might just be because I'm logged in, when you scroll, the actual header content gets locked behind. This might be a bug. I might report it to them so that they can resolve it. If you click the search icon, you get a nice little drawer right here. I'm actually using another theme by GhostPool on one of my project sites. It is the Huber theme, which I have covered. It's a great theme. And this is just another continuation of what is Huber. We're going to go ahead and just look at the post creation screen, the page creation screen, because the GhostPool themes tend to have additional sub options. So when you create a page, you have a whole different subsection of different customization that can be done. So you can choose if it's a review template, which allows you to have the review icons appear on there. Since this is a page, you don't need that. And then you have the option to modify certain aspects of the website's loading parents. So you can have a different header style for specific types of content. And you could choose where it gets loaded. You could choose if you want to hide or enable or disable the footer. The title bar, you could choose how you want it to be rendered. You can modify the title header height. You can choose to add a video. You can have a custom title that overwrites the default title. You can add a subtitle. Basically, what the custom title is if you have the name of a post, like this for instance, you can put that title up here, but then you can modify it by putting in a custom title here, and that's what would be shown, and it overwrites on the front end that title. This is useful if you're using titles as a means of back-end organization, but you need to be able to modify it on the front end, and this makes it fairly straightforward. You can also add a subtitle. A subtitle would be this little orange box right here. Very straightforward as well. And you just get a large amount of customizability. Now, one thing about these themes is they are quite bulky. That doesn't mean it's impossible to optimize. I did a video that covers how to optimize this theme, and it does get a lot better. But keep in mind that whenever you're using a Visual Composer powered theme, that your mobile performance will always suffer. And this is because Visual Composer is inherently inefficient. It loads a large amount of CSS and JavaScript that are bundled together for mobile devices. The fact that they're pre-bundled is the issue, not the fact that they're bundled at the first place. Because they're pre-bundled, they load all the CSS on every page, regardless of whether only the columns are being used from the default Visual Composer. This means that you have a lot of default CSS for default widgets that end up getting loaded that are just not necessary. All in all, you could spend hours going into this theme and modifying it. My typical recommendation with complicated themes like this is look at what they try to advertise it as first. So GhostPool, reputable developer, great guy, totally recommend you buy his themes. The theme itself is mostly advertised as a community-based theme. So when you're looking at the demos list, find the one that you're trying to model your business after. So if you're making a hosting website and you click preview, sure, that looks like a hosting website. But is this the best theme to be a hosting website? I would say not. Get a business theme. Use something like Astra with Elementor or Avada or something that's really built to be a business theme. But if you're looking to build a course website, this is a great theme for that. It has integration with Sensei. It's super easy to use. It's incredibly straightforward. And that's what the theme at its core was meant to be. If you're looking to have a review theme, while this does look really good, and I would use it for this, there are better review themes out there. GhostPool makes other magazine themes that are probably better than this for this circumstance. So all in all, it really comes down to your user, what you're trying to build. Great theme, but it's not great for every use case. And no matter how much marketing you see and all the fancy banners that they put on the post and all the millions of colors that you can change, at the end of the day, it's a community-based theme. It can be used for the dating website. You could use it as an intranet. I wouldn't probably use WordPress as an intranet unless you have a really specific use case personally, but it's an option. And ultimately, it comes down to what you're going to get the most bang for buck. Community-based theme, totally, highly recommended. Review theme, maybe, but he makes other themes that are just as good, if not better, for that use case. If you're looking for a combination of review and community, this is a great option because this thing is community first. So just figure out what you're trying to build, and then you won't have any issues with building a website and finding the correct theme. If you have a specific question or you have an issue with this theme, you could try to answer in the comments. You can ask it in the comments below, and I'll try to answer. I have a lot of experience with the theme. I have used it before. I've worked with clients who are using this theme, and they're very happy with it. I just wouldn't use it for every use case. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.